Welcome back. It's time to build the last remaining section in this project, which is the footer. Now this is just a very simple section, and so there is not so much to learn here anymore. But we are going to put some of the stuff we did before to practice. And don't worry, there's still a ton more to learn in the next lectures. Okay, and that is the footer. So as I said, really simple, only this dark gray background here, then this big logo going on here, and then a small navigation on the left side, in this column here, with this hover effect here, okay, and then on the right side, a simple copyright text. Okay, and that's really it. So let's start with the markup again. And now we're actually done here with the main element of our page, because what we're doing now is not anymore the main content of the site, but it's really only the footer. So it's the element footer, and I'm still going to give it a class called footer, because we're still using the BEM notation here, and in that notation, each element should get a class. And so that's what we're doing here as well. Now next up, there is that logo that I showed you, and I want to put that in a box as well. So let's create a div called footer logo box, just like we have in the header as well. And then in here goes the logo, okay, with the source of img and logo green 2 times. So it's the bigger version, but more on that later. Then here the alternative text is the full logo, and let's add a class to this one as well, and it's the footer logo, okay? So that's the logo, and then down here we have a row. So row, and then call 1 of 2, and this 2 times. So remember this emmet notation, and so here we go. So in the first column we want that navigation, right? So let's call it footer navigation, and actually we need to put the dot here, okay? And then usually navigation is an unordered list with a couple of li, so list items in there. So let's do that as well. So ul, this one is simply a footer list with a list item in it. So footer item with a link in it, okay? And so this one is going footer link. All right, now the href goes to nothing, and the text here is company, okay? So we are just building this navigation. So company, contact us, careers, privacy policy, and terms. So 5 times. It's actually not correct. So company, contact us, careers, and I think that's not correct. So careers, privacy, and terms. So just that we have some items in there. Okay, so that is the first column, and the second column, let's just put a paragraph in there. Footer, and here we will have the copyright text. So copyright. Okay, so let's say build by, and then a link, a footer link, okay? So we're basically reusing the ones here from the navigation. Okay, so going to nowhere, and then I just want to put my name here, okay, just to put some text here for this online course. Of course you can do something different here. I just want to put some links here to show you an effect that I came up with, which is really cool, I think. So I'm putting some links in here. First online course, advanced CSS and SAS. And now I'm going to put some copyright information in here, because I get this question all the time from students. And so this time I thought I'll make it very clear what you can do with this page. Okay, so copyright. And now I'm using a special entity, so it's copy by Jonas Schmedtmann. So that's me. And now here's what you can do with this website, okay? So you are 100% allowed to use this web page for both personal and commercial use, but not to claim it as your own design. A credit to the original author is, of course, highly appreciated. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so please go ahead and put this web page on your portfolio or whatever page you want to put it to show to some potential clients or something. So that's no problem with me. Just don't say that you designed this web page on your own. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I would say. So that's it for the HTML, and let's now go ahead and actually format this. So this layout this time, right? So the footer, then of course we need to include it here. That's not correct, so footer. Now to start, let's give it some background color. And we want something really dark here, so let's see what we have here. And this is actually not dark enough, so let's create a third one in a 333. So this is pretty dark. Let's get the name of it. So some padding, of course, not as much as the other sections because this one is not as important, so we don't want to give it that much space. The font size can also be a bit smaller, so we don't need this one to be as big. Okay. Then we have the logo box. Okay. So we have the logo box. We have the logo. So let's prepare all of these selectors here for ourselves. We have the navigation. So navigation, we have the list, and in there we have the items and we have the links. So a lot of selectors here. I think it's actually link, right? So what do we want the logo to look like? Let's specify a width very simply of 15 rem, and then the height can adjust automatically. Okay, so let's just take a look at that. And here we are. Well, that doesn't quite look exactly as we specified, right? So let's see what's going on here. Well, maybe we didn't quite include it right here in the main. Let's take a look, layout, footer. So that should be okay. Maybe I have this error going on again in the terminal. Oh, okay, so color, gray dark, undefined variable. Ah, okay, I see there's some error there. So I didn't copy the 3. So that was the problem. Let's check it out now. And here we go. Okay, much better now. Okay, now we want this logo here to be centered, of course, in all of this, and then some space here, right? So how can we do that? What do you think? Well, I think it's actually pretty easy because the image is an inline element, and so all we have to do here is to say text align, center, and then that will center the image because an inline element behaves just like text. And then adjust the margin bottom here, 8 rem. Okay, so that should look fine now. Exactly. Okay, and now let's then do this navigation here, of course. So first the list, we don't want any list style here. So list style none. Okay, so that's enough for this. Then the items, we want them side by side, right? But not as floated elements. It's way easier to make this as inline elements. And so display inline block. And then just give them some spacing, just some right margin on all of them except the last one, as always, right? So that's nothing new for you at this point. So not last child. Not gave me that second colon there, but no problem. So margin right. Let's say 1.5 rem. And now finally, as for the links, we want the state for the link state and for the visited one. So visited, of course. And so color, we want this nice gray, so this very light gray. So this one here, so color gray light, because white on dark always looks a bit weird, and so I try to avoid that. Okay, so the color, then the text decoration should go away. Always do that, usually on links. The text transform, uppercase once again. And then I want them to be inline blocks as well. All right, and now when they are hovered or clicked, so when they're active, I want them to be green, so color primary. And they should have a bit of a shadow, so this crazy effect that I showed you before. So once again, 0, 1 rem, 2 rem. And if these values seem a bit random to you, then once again, please, I really encourage you to play around with these, okay? And 0.4 here, so a bit darker, so that we can actually see it against that, that dark background. Okay, so let's just take a quick look. And that looks pretty good already, all right? So what we had here was actually this here as well, okay? So this style. So we need a transform here, right? So how do we do that? Do you have a good idea? Well, it's very simple. We just rotate it like 5 degrees and also scale it a bit, like 1.3, okay? And so that should be enough, all right? So let's see. This is the original one. This is ours. So, all right. Looks already pretty good. Well, you see that it's like transparent. So it's here on top of the other text. So we should fix that. And then we want this, of course, the animation to happen. And you also saw that slide, this gray line here. Okay. So let's put that on ours as well. So, of course, the transition, all in 2.2 seconds. And then what we need here is also this background color, okay? So background color dark gray. So the same as the footer's background. Now about that line, that should also be pretty simple. So it should be here on the navigation, right? So border top, 1 pixel, solid, and then let's see what kind of color we can use. So let's use this light gray color here again. Okay, and now maybe some padding there as well, like to rem. Okay, actually padding top, so a space between the line and the navigation itself. So just like this. Now we only want this line to come here until this point, right? And it's also a bit too light, but that's not important. For now, what I want is that this only comes to here. So again, do you have an idea how to do that? Well, it's actually pretty simple. So what do we have to do here? Display inline block. And why does that work? Well, just because an inline block doesn't occupy 100% of its available width, only the one that the content needs. And so that will fix it. Now the color, let's put this darker one here. Okay. And so that's it. So all we have to do now is the copyright here, okay? So just the final copyright. And where is that? Yeah, here on this level. So copyright. We wanted to have the same color as the link text. So color gray light. Okay. And we can actually put that here in the top, in the footer, okay, because then this here will simply inherit that style. And then we also want this one to have this line here on top, okay, so just like this. So let's check it out. Okay, now it doesn't look very symmetric here, okay, so let's decrease the width here of that entire thing, okay. So if we decrease this, then it will look better. It will not 100% fix it, but let's take a look at that later. So 80%, for example. So it doesn't fix it because, well, now the empty space that we wanted is here on this side. And so finally, just say float right, and that is it. All right, so that looks better now. The animation is happening on these links here as well. And so yeah, that looks better, right? And that's it. So we designed a very simple footer with a huge logo to finish this page. So the page is now almost finished, but not exactly finished, because now there are two major things missing. The first one is this navigation here. So that's what we're going to do next. So this really great effect here. And then finally, what's also missing is this pop-up effect. So these are two things that I'll have to do, and we're going to tackle these over the next lectures. So stay tuned and see you later.